Hey Aquarius, and welcome to your October 2018 General Tarot Forecast. How gorgeous you're looking this month as you are really overcoming a lot and having to transcend a lot. I sense that you are really placed into a position in life which you didn't expect. Your reading is quite similarly energetically tuned to like Pisces reading. So if you guys are like an Aquarius with a lot of Pisces in your chart, as that is very possible since the signs are right near each other, I definitely think that you should check out Pisces reading as well. That's been a big one for this month. And yeah, and I get a lot of similar vibes. There are some really stark differences, but I think that it will be important maybe to learn from any Pisces that you have in your life. So if you have them around, like what are they going through? What are the similar themes? And how can you kind of like learn? Because I do feel Aquarius and Pisces to be like really interconnected right now and like actually quite good for each other. So if you've been like dating a Pisces, it's probably like a go ahead, you know, or if you've been making new friends who are Pisces, I think that it's really good. At the same time, you are making so many changes in who is around, similar to what Pisces was going through as well. And you are maybe falling out a little bit this month with certain people. As I feel that you are not what you used to represent now, and people might be realizing that. I sense like a really big shift and a really big coming to age energy for Aquarius. Like you're really starting to flesh out the character that you've wanted to become. You've really started to step into your own, and I think that maybe what that represents doesn't align with some of the people who have been in your life, and now they might start to make that clear. It might be hard to hold on to people. It might be hard to connect emotionally with people this month, but that's not new. It's not something that's changed within you or other people, but it's more obvious now. Like people may not make the same effort to connect, or you may not really be willing to establish space in your life for people who don't connect well with you. And I do feel like that is encouraged. Really pay close attention to where the disconnects are happening emotionally with others. And this month will be a breeze for you because ultimately what you're coming into is a more like progressive nature energetically. So really making progress on something, really pushing forward. But there's a few things which have to be ironed out, I feel, before you're comfortable stepping into that place. And that seems to truly compensate within your emotional sphere, and, you know, who is on my team, who is in my support network, who am I supporting. I'm sensing like your association, like guilty by association was the word that I heard. And so who do you feel guilty by association by? Who do you feel like is there's something about reputation coming up this month as well. So like, who do you feel like is not good for your reputation? That might seem a bit shallow, but your reputation might change this month or might actually be able to start healing a lot. And that's not just from the shallow perspective of what other people think of you or how other people see you, but it's what you are exhibiting, what you are projecting. You know, your reputation really comes into alignment with what you're projecting this month. And I think Aquarius has really been working on that. Like, what am I projecting? How can I be who I am? And the most beautiful gift I feel for Aquarius in October is the ability to represent what you project and to be reputable based on what you project and not have a disconnect there, you know, not knowing that you have good intentions and good motivations, but being accused of the opposite, you know. So everything that you do this month should contribute towards a progression on your reputation and projection lining up and coming into conjunction this month. And you might see that that's kind of a it's not a difficult path, but there are obstacles there. Because I see like we enter into the month and we end the month on something that feels quite minor, but we have to like really work through something big at the mid phase. If you're going through kind of life-changing experiences right now, you know you're halfway through, and maybe even more than halfway. Your central theme this month is Nine of Wands, so feeling like you're having to endure a lot. I'm happy that it's upright. I feel like you're building the endurance. Some of you may be working on your health. Some of you may be really pacing yourself, and that's the goal. Really try to pace yourself with whatever it is that you're taking on this month. Don't look for instant gratification. Don't look for a sudden windfall, or don't try to exert yourself, you know, for like 24 hours one day and then need like 3 days to recuperate and then go back into that cycle of, you know, like really pushing hard for a short amount of time, then having to basically recuperate and convalesce on account of that. Really pace yourself, really work on the routine, and remember throughout this month that if things are falling away or if things aren't coming in a benevolent way, it's because they hinder you in the long run. Try to not get caught up on the things which are not working out correctly, because it's important that they don't work out now so you can create a new structure versus forcing them to work now and having them fall through at a less good time for that to happen. This is a good time for things to fall through. And that sounds kind of bad. That sounds kind of worrisome. But I feel that Aquarius makes so much progress over the next few months as Jupiter goes into Sag in November. And I sense that for things to fall through then, or for things to get delayed now and have to be faced then, it takes away from a lot of the opportunity you would gain. So really face anything falling out with, I don't want to say be happy about it, but be in a way gracious or thankful to the universe that, yeah, this could have happened at a way worse time and I can really build something incredible to really help me and support me when I have new opportunities come in. Okay, Aquarius, I'm going to go ahead and get into the week to week and we'll see what else is coming up. In the first week of October, you have Page of Cups reversed, rooted down by Three of Cups reversed. So what you've sort of generated as solace in your life, or what people have represented, an escape from difficult experiences, is not what it used to be, and that's changing. So platonic relationships can easily fall through here, or you can easily start to feel detached from people who once felt like really connected to you, but they're still going to be around, and that's sort of the interesting thing. You're not going to see them just like leave you, but you're going to see them maybe come around and you're like, something has changed, like something is just not jiving anymore with these people. And there's an importance to understand the emotional evolution that's happened within you that might be prompting that, and not be looking for like what went wrong. Sometimes when we have an incredible ascension or evolution in our own lives, it becomes difficult to connect with the people who were there before that happened. Some relationships are much better in the short term than they are in the long term. And when you start looking at relationships that have fallen out from the lens of like what you've done wrong or what bad thing happened to prompt that falling out, you start to kind of doubt your transformation and you start to kind of doubt your journey. Like, what have I done wrong to make this not work? I feel that relationships will be revisited again, moving into 2019. So anything that falls off here, I don't feel to be permanent, but I feel it to be important in the sort of solidification and realization that your path and current evolution is not flawed. And, it could be flawed. Who knows? That's going to change for each individual person. And it's not really, evolution isn't really a matter of positive or negative, or, it's not really a matter of flaws. It might not be right for you, but it's what puts you where you need to be. So try to not doubt it or discount it in any way. Week number 2, the Chariot rooted down by the Hanged Man. So much major arcana moving into the middle of October here. That's a little bit, I don't want to call it passive aggressive, or manic depressive, or anything like that, but it's volatile. The Chariot is such a movement oriented, change oriented, motion oriented major arcana, and the Hanged Man is such a stillness, solidification, unmoving major arcana energy. So which will win? Which is going to be more potent for Aquarius? You have to give yourself both. You have to be able to feel still in movement, and you have to be able to feel non-stagnant in stillness, if that makes sense. So when you're having stillness or solitude in your life, how is this giving you progress? How is this contributing to an evolution? When you don't feel like you can be still, when you're having to move around, when you're having to make a lot of changes, how can that be, in a way, you coming back to yourself? And also, like, when you're working really hard, because I do feel Aquarius works very hard this month, how can that in a way be a resting phase? It's actually really easy in October for everyone, as we had a pretty benevolent Virgo season. It's actually easy for what might have once been considered hard work to actually be considered rest now. You're like working at your desk, or you're, driving, or whatever it is you do for a living, and you realize, wow, this is actually really healing and really resting to me. Like, so finding new headspaces for when you're exerting yourself or not exerting yourself is a really powerful thing to come into, I feel, for Aquarius during this time. And I feel that, again, just to be the general energy of fluctuation as well. So it might be a good time to, if you're not feeling well or if the health is feeling off, even just in a subtle way, that is a supported time to get some blood work done or to check the hormone levels. Or if you're predisposed to any type of hormonal fluctuation in the body, which is a bit volatile, it can act up during that time, I feel. So it's important to go into the second week of October with balanced, mind, body, soul, and making sure that the routine is good. Not a good time, to be like working really hard till about 3 in the morning and, waking up at 8 a.m. and then that type of thing. Plenty of sleep is good, not too much sleep, but a good balanced routine in the second week will do so much for you, if that's possible. For some of you, that won't be possible because the volatility will force itself in some way, in which case you have to be able to implement that rest during active phases technique that we spoke about earlier. Week number 3, 10 of Swords reversed, rooted down by Judgment reversed. Oh, and I actually had to step away from your reading for a moment, Aquarius, as the energy got quite thick and I could not breathe very well, so I am back to finish the reading now. And yeah, that energy is a heavier one for sure. It doesn't really have to be that hard actually, but I feel like if you're very attached to something, or if you really need a cycle of trauma and don't really know that, because here's the thing, Aquarius, you're not always the most emotional sign, but when Jupiter went into Scorpio, it really activated actually a very strong emotional cord that you always have within you. And it becomes so important during this period of time to recognize if you're needing emotional, any type of emotional activation on account of like how that fluctuates your body, or on account of how that makes you feel. You might actually see that there's like an addiction to adrenaline, or an addiction to cortisol, or one of the stress hormones in your body, and that might not be a realization, or that might not be something that you know right now, but notice like if there needs to be like a cycle of stress happening over and over again. Otherwise, if you're just still, there's sort of like a feeling of void or a feeling of limbo. So you kind of like need some type of high octane experience to distract from that. Watch out for needing stress to distract from what is inevitable, or what it is that you're having to face, because I do feel that it's taking a toll on your body. 9 of Wands being your central theme, you're a little bit injured, or you're a little bit worse for wear by continuing stressful cycles. And that's not always deliberate. It's not always a purposeful, deliberate decision to continue a stressful cycle or a trauma cycle. Sometimes, we see in hindsight that we might have been doing that, but in the moment, in the present, it's decisions, it's crossroads, and we sort of think that we're just taking it step by step, and in the long run, it ends up continuing this difficult cycle. It's such an important time in the third week of October, Aquarius, for you to see what cycles there are and how your body is reacting to them, and if they're right, if they're maintainable, if they're something that you wish to sustain. Because what you're also given in the third week of October is the opportunity to make a big change. Honestly, I see an opportunity to have more solitude in your life, which some of you might be a little bit frightened of, but we'll get to that. And an opportunity, you see, I'm like losing my voice as I'm going into this energy. And it's a lot, it's a lot. For some of you, it could be a breakup type of energy. For some of you, it could be seeing how you've broken away from what you've represented as a person. But it is so important to realize that within that lies the opportunity to shift anything that you're not too satisfied with. So, aiming your sights towards that process rather than wallowing in a fear system will do you very well, but it won't feel right for everyone. That's the thing. You've got that 10 of Swords reversed and 9 of Wands in Judgment. It's just like there's a really strong desire to make a change, an enjoyment of strategizing about change, but a stillness when it comes to implementing the change. So how can we make stillness and movement purposeful? And by purposeful, I mean serving a purpose, not like deliberate. So how can stillness be purposeful? And how can stillness not inhibit you from making progress? And at the same time, how can you be still when your body needs it? I'm feeling it's like it's in the wrong place. Like, you're being still at the wrong times. You're being motion oriented at the wrong times. Your body needs to rest, and that's when you go into work mode. Your body needs movement, and that's when there's stillness. So it's like trying to shift, and it's trying to accommodate that. It's trying to change. And that's where you start to see the circadian rhythms and just a lot of reactions. You know, you can see like splices in your reality experience when the body tries to accommodate a cycle which is not natural. So this might sound pretty negative, and it's hard to say. It's hard to say, but within this is so much creativity. You know, fourth week, Ace of Wands reversed, rooted down by Page of Wands reversed. You are working with so much creative energy, so much solar plexus energy, Aquarius. It's almost hard for it not to implode on you, but at the same time, it's almost impossible for that implosion of that energy to actually make you fall out or make you lose traction, which is a weird little, double entendre idea there, because where do you linger? You know, where do you emerge when you're so like stuck between possibilities there? The key I feel is manifesting something new. It's that easy. It really is, because you have so much manifestation power, but for some reason you're not using it, because I think that you're associating that with like your life force, which it is to an extent. But you know, when the body maybe has had to accommodate so much for what has been difficult, you start to think that to manifest or to generate or to change the situation is killing you, because it feels like it's draining your life force, so you stay in the same situation. You're gonna see the crux of that in the fourth week of October as we move into Scorpio time there. You're gonna see the exact crux of like that life force versus change needed crux and cycle in your life. And what do you do in the face of that? Well, I would make sure that there aren't any more leeches or any type of parasitic people around you, and I would give yourself a bit of void, actually, because you're for some reason a bit fearful of that. You're a bit fearful of limbo, or of, you know, not being sidetracked by something. And what your body needs so much is rest, and your mind needs rest, but it's wired now perhaps to be very energetically outward during times of rest. So you're resting, but your mind is running away with you. You can heal that here. You can heal that here in October. Actually, much more easily than you give yourself credit for. But there has to be a deliberate lack of accommodation to this sort of messed up cycle that you found yourself in. Nine of Wands just really speaks for it all. If you would like to do some like side research on Nine of Wands and how to work with that energy, you know, you're so close. You're so close to getting somewhere. And it's this type of energy that has been expressed throughout this month's reading that calibrates people to shoot off at the right target. Okay? So don't be scared of it. Don't fear it. Don't fear motion. Don't fear stillness. And don't allow yourself to accommodate to a system which drains your life force and makes you think that you can't make changes in your life because you don't have much to work with. You're much more potent than you realize. Pull back on your emotional output towards others who can't give you anything in return, and think about like what transformation or evolution truly is best for you, and capitalize on that, and trust that your life force will accommodate in a positive way to what you actually need to represent in the future. Okay, I hope this has made sense, and I hope this hasn't been too negative, but it is a trying and heavy time for Aquarius, but it does so much for you in the future. Do remember that this is not in vain. Anyway, if you would like to have a private reading to understand some of these energies further, and maybe we can go in like individually and see like what changes we need to make, or how this is impacting you personally, because I feel it's so individually different for each Aquarius, you can check the description box below or click the center of your screen to set that up. Your likes, comments, and subscribes mean the world to me. And yeah, I will be speaking to you guys. Oh, and also check out your sun, moon, rising sign. If this didn't quite resonate, or if this is like too heavy, you'll be able to see like other ways to work with this energy as well through watching the sun, moon, rising sign. I'll link that below in the description box. Anyway, Aquarius, much love. We'll be talking soon. Bye.